Have you ever wondered why two people can start with the same opportunities, live in the same world, yet end up with completely different lives? One surrounded by wealth and freedom, the other trapped in struggle and limitation. The difference is not luck. It's not always background or education or even talent. The difference lies in the way they think, the way they see themselves, and the way they respond to life. It's mindset. And your mindset will either lock you into a life of frustration or unlock a future of limitless possibility. Right now, you may feel the weight of bills, the exhaustion of working hard yet seeing little change, the constant voice in your head saying, "Is this all there is?" You may feel as though success is reserved for others, those who were born into privilege, those who had connections, those who got lucky. But deep down, you know there has to be more. You know there's a power inside you waiting to be awakened, a hunger that refuses to accept a life of survival when you were born to thrive. That hunger is the reason you're here, listening. That hunger is proof you're not finished yet. The truth is, rich and poor is not only about money. It's about vision. It's about belief. A poor mindset sees obstacles and stops. A rich mindset sees obstacles and grows. A poor mindset spends time wishing for things to change. A rich mindset creates change with action, courage, and relentless persistence. When you start shifting the way you see yourself, you will realize that your circumstances are not permanent. They are only a reflection of the way you've been trained to think. And the moment you choose a different mindset, your future begins to transform. This is why you must stay with me through every word of this journey. Because what you'll discover is not just inspiration, it's a mirror that forces you to face your excuses, your fears, and your limitations and replace them with clarity, strength, and unstoppable belief. By the end, you will not only understand the difference between a rich and poor mindset, you will feel it deep in your bones. And that feeling will ignite action, the kind of action that changes lives. Think about this. Your entire life has been shaped by thoughts you never questioned, beliefs handed down by family, by society, by teachers, by friends, beliefs that told you to play it safe, to stay small, to not risk failure. But if you look closely, you'll see that these beliefs were never designed to make you free. They were designed to keep you comfortable, to keep you predictable. And comfort is the silent killer of potential. The rich mindset understands that discomfort is where growth is born. It understands that wealth is not money first. It is freedom of thought, freedom of time, freedom of choice. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to decide which mindset will guide you. Will you stay chained to limitation, or will you break free and rise into the life you were created for? The choice is yours. And if you stay with me, you will see exactly how to shift, exactly how to rise, exactly how to take the life you've been given and turn it into the life you dream about. Stay, because what's coming is not just information. It is transformation. And this could be the turning point you've been waiting for your entire life. The greatest trap of the poor mindset is the belief that life is something happening to you instead of something happening through you. When you think this way, you give away your power. You wait for opportunity instead of creating it. You wait for someone to save instead of realizing you were born with everything you need to save yourself. The rich mindset begins with one unshakable truth. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your destiny. The moment you embrace this, the chains around you begin to break. Look at the way most people think. They focus on scarcity. They see what they don't have, and that becomes their reality. They wake up every day counting limitations. They say, "I can't afford this. I don't have time. I'll never be able to." Each word reinforces the cage they live in. A poor mindset feeds on excuses, and excuses starve your future. But the rich mindset refuses to bow to scarcity. It trains the eyes to see abundance even in the middle of lack. It asks, how can I afford this? How can I create time? How can I make this possible? Those questions open doors where excuses once built walls. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing a lens that empowers you instead of weakens you. If you see yourself as powerless, you will act powerless. If you see yourself as capable, you will find ways to prove it. The human mind is extraordinary. It becomes what you feed it. Feed it fear, it will shrink. Feed it courage, it will rise. Feed it doubt, it will hesitate. Feed it vision, it will build. Every great transformation begins in the unseen space between your ears. Change your thoughts, and your world cannot stay the same. Think about the people you admire most. They were not born with guarantees. Many started with nothing but a decision to see the world differently, to believe in themselves when no one else did, to act boldly when fear tried to hold them still. Their external circumstances were not the secret. Their mindset was. They refused to let limitations write their story. And you carry that same ability inside you right now. The reason most people never step into greatness is because they wait for feelings to come first. They wait to feel confident before they act, motivated before they try, secure before they leap. But the rich mindset knows that action creates the feeling, not the other way around. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move in spite of it. And when you move, when you take that first step, you discover the truth. Fear is not a wall. It is an illusion that dissolves in the face of action. This is why the shift matters. Because once you break free from waiting, once you stop seeing obstacles as final and start seeing them as fuel, you become unstoppable. Imagine what your life would look like if you replaced every excuse with a question, every fear with action, every doubt with faith. Imagine the doors that would open, the people you would meet, the opportunities that would appear. That is not fantasy. It is the reality waiting on the other side of your mindset, and you are closer than you think. The richest shift you can ever make begins when you understand the power of responsibility. The poor mindset points outward, searching for someone to blame. It blames the government, the boss, the family, the economy, even the past. But blame builds no future. Blame is a comfortable prison that convinces you the keys are in someone else's hands. The rich mindset rejects blame because it understands one truth. If you did not create the problem, you cannot control the outcome. Taking responsibility is not about fault. It is about freedom. It is the moment you reclaim the pen and start writing your story with intention. Responsibility awakens strength you did not know you had. When you say this is mine to change, you stop waiting and start building. You stop hoping and start acting. Life responds to the energy you put into it. The poor mindset waits for the world to get easier. The rich mindset prepares to become stronger. When you take responsibility, obstacles lose their power to paralyze you. Instead, they sharpen you, they refine you, they train you for the next level. This shift alone separates those who rise from those who remain. Every time you take ownership, your confidence grows. Think about the times in your life when you did something difficult, something that scared you, but you did it anyway. On the other side of that choice, you felt stronger. That strength did not come from the world changing, it came from you changing. That is the foundation of the rich mindset. It does not wait for external validation. It creates internal certainty. This is why responsibility is so rare and so powerful, because most people are afraid to admit they are in control. If you are in control, it means you have no excuse. It means you cannot hide behind circumstances. But here's the paradox. Once you accept full responsibility, the very thing you fear becomes your freedom. You no longer need to wait on perfect timing or perfect conditions. You act now, and in acting, you create conditions that once felt impossible. There's a fire that only responsibility can ignite. A fire that pushes you to stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with this? The poor mindset sees struggle as punishment. The rich mindset sees struggle as preparation. Every challenge carries a lesson. Every failure carries feedback. And if you are willing to own it, to learn from it, to apply it, you grow faster than anyone around you. That growth is wealth in its purest form. Imagine what happens when you begin to live this way. Suddenly, no excuse can hold you. No obstacle can break you. No failure can define you, because you have decided that you are responsible for your future and nothing outside of you has the power to stop it. That decision is the birthplace of transformation. That decision is the line that divides those who dream from those who achieve. And right now you are standing at that line. You can choose to wait, to blame, to stay small, or you can choose to step forward, take ownership, and build the life that once felt impossible. The power has always been yours. It always will be. The richest mindset understands that time is the most valuable currency you will ever own. Money can be lost and rebuilt. Opportunities can disappear and return. But time is the one resource that never comes back once it is gone. The poor mindset treats time as if it is endless, as if there will always be another chance, another tomorrow, another season to finally begin. That illusion is the greatest thief of potential. Every day spent waiting is a day of power wasted. When you value time, your choices change. You stop wasting energy on distractions that drain you, and you begin to invest in actions that build you. You start saying no to what keeps you small and yes to what pulls you forward. The poor mindset looks at time as something to kill, something to spend, something to survive through. The rich mindset looks at time as something to multiply, something to maximize, something to master. The way you use your time is the clearest reflection of the way you value your life. Think about the hours already behind you. How many were filled with hesitation, procrastination, and doubt? How many were given to people or habits that added no value to your future? If those hours could be returned, what would you do differently? You cannot go back, but you can decide now that the next hour, the next day, the next season of your life will not be wasted. The shift begins the moment you realize that your time is your wealth, and every decision either grows it or destroys it. The poor mindset says, I don't have time. But the truth is, you always have time for what matters most. The difference lies in what you choose to prioritize. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone chooses the same standard. One person spends hours numbing their mind, while another spends hours building their vision. One person gives energy to gossip, while another gives energy to growth. Time reveals mindset, and mindset shapes destiny. When you guard your time, you elevate your life. You begin to see every hour as an opportunity to invest in yourself, your health, your skills, your dreams. You stop living as though you are immortal, and you start living with urgency. Urgency is not panic, it is clarity. It is the quiet fire that reminds you the clock is ticking, and what you do now will echo for years. The rich mindset burns with this urgency, not because of fear, but because of purpose. Purpose gives weight to every moment. Ask yourself, how would you live today if you knew it mattered more than any day before it? How would you show up, think, speak, and act if you truly believed your time was priceless? The truth is, it is priceless. And every moment you treat it that way, you rise higher. Every moment you waste it, you sink deeper. This is why the rich mindset is not about chasing money. It is about mastering time. Because when you master time, money, freedom, and impact naturally follow. Your future is not waiting for the perfect day. It is being written in this moment by the way you choose to spend your most valuable resource. Choose with wisdom. Choose with urgency. Choose with purpose. Because the clock does not stop, and neither should you. The difference between a life of survival and a life of abundance is the ability to see opportunity where others only see problems. The poor mindset sees every challenge as a reason to stop, as proof that the dream is too far, too heavy, too impossible. But the rich mindset understands that within every problem lies the seed of growth, the doorway to new solutions, and the chance to rise higher than before. The world will never stop presenting challenges. The only thing that can change is the way you choose to respond to them. When you train your mind to see opportunity, you break free from the cycle of limitation. Most people live reacting to life, waiting for perfect conditions, waiting for someone to tell them it's safe to move. But perfect conditions do not exist. The rich mindset knows that opportunity is born from action, and action is born from belief. The moment you believe there's always a way forward, you begin to see possibilities others cannot. You start moving when everyone else is standing still. That is how leaders are made. Opportunity often comes disguised as work, as struggle, as risk. This is why so many miss it. The poor mindset avoids discomfort, searching for the path of least resistance. But the rich mindset embraces the path of growth, knowing that resistance builds strength. Every obstacle is a test. Will you shrink back into excuses, or will you expand into potential? The answer to that question decides your destiny. There is a principle of psychology that says the brain will always find evidence for what it believes. If you believe the world is unfair, you will only see reasons to quit. If you believe life is abundant, you will see doors where others see walls. What you believe determines what you notice, and what you notice determines what you create. This is why cultivating a rich mindset is not optional. It is the foundation of everything you hope to build. Think about the people who rise in the face of adversity. They are not superhuman. They simply see differently. While others complain about the storm, they learn to build sails. While others wait for the rain to stop, they plant seeds knowing the water will help them grow. That shift in perception changes everything. And you have the power to make that shift right now. It begins with one decision: to believe that every challenge holds value. When you adopt this belief, frustration transforms into fuel. Failure transforms into feedback. Delay transforms into preparation. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what is this teaching me? That question opens your mind to solutions, and solutions create progress. You were not created to stay stuck. You were created to adapt, to learn, to overcome, to expand. Opportunity is all around you, but you will only see it when you stop focusing on what you lack and start focusing on what you can create. The rich mindset chooses creation over complaint, vision over victimhood, action over excuses. And the more you choose this, the more opportunities will appear. Because the truth is, they were always there, just needed the eyes to see them. This is how transformation begins. By training your mind to look beyond the obstacle and search for the opening. By refusing to settle for limitation and demanding growth. By choosing again and again to see possibility where others see impossibility. And when you live this way, your life cannot stay the same. Wealth of the mind is built not only on how you see opportunity, but also on how you deal with fear. Fear is the invisible barrier that holds countless people back from living the life they dream about. The poor mindset allows fear to dictate decisions, to silence action, to shrink vision until life feels small and safe. But safety is an illusion, and what feels safe often becomes the cage that keeps you from freedom. The rich mindset does not deny fear, but it refuses to be ruled by it. It understands that fear is not a stop sign. It is a signal you are moving toward growth. Every meaningful step in life carries fear with it. Fear shows up when you risk, when you step into the unknown, when you dare to aim higher than before. But here's the secret. Fear loses its power when you face it with movement. Action is the antidote to fear. Each time you move despite trembling hands and racing thoughts, you send a message to your brain that you are stronger than what you fear. And the more you prove this to yourself, the more courage you build. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is mastery over fear through repetition and choice. The poor mindset waits for fear to disappear before taking action. It waits for confidence to arrive like a gift from the sky. But confidence is built, not found. It's built every time you face the thing you want to avoid. It is built every time you choose to do what scares you, and you survive and you grow. This is the path of the rich mindset. It leans into discomfort because it knows growth lives on the other side. Fear has another trick. It disguises itself as logic. It whispers, now is not the right time, or you need more before you start. But deep inside, you know those voices are not logic. They are limitation. You do not need permission to rise. You do not need guarantees to begin. You need only the decision to trust yourself enough to act. Every great achievement in history began with someone who felt fear but refused to bow to it. And the same strength that lived in them lives in you right now. When you challenge fear, you reclaim control of your life. No longer do you let the unknown decide your destiny. No longer do you let failure scare you into silence. Instead, you embrace failure as proof you dared to try and as a stepping stone toward mastery. The rich mindset knows failure is not the end. It is feedback, guidance, and refinement. Each attempt makes you sharper, braver, and closer to your vision. Imagine the doors that would open if you stopped letting fear choose for you. Imagine the opportunities that would flood your life if you acted boldly, even when your heart raced. The truth is, fear will always be there, but so will courage. And courage only grows when you choose it. The difference between the life you have and the life you want is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of action in spite of it. The future does not belong to those who wait for fear to fade. It belongs to those who face fear head on, who rise while others retreat, who step forward when everything inside them says to stop. That is how breakthroughs happen. That is how lives are transformed. And that is the choice in front of you now. The same way fear shapes choices. Comfort silently shapes destiny. Comfort is the enemy of greatness because it convinces you the average is acceptable, that staying the same is safer than growing, that today's ease is worth more than tomorrow's potential. The poor mindset seeks comfort as a reward, but in reality, comfort becomes a trap. The rich mindset understands that comfort must be earned after growth, not chosen instead of it. It knows that the moments of discomfort, pressure, and challenge are the very moments that carve strength, resilience, and vision. Growth never comes from what is easy. Growth is forged in the fire of difficulty, in the weight of discipline, in the decisions to do what most people avoid. The poor mindset avoids discomfort by choosing distraction, procrastination, or excuses. It trades long-term fulfillment for short-term relief. But every shortcut delays the dream. The rich mindset sees discomfort as proof of progress. It welcomes attention because it knows muscles only grow under resistance and minds only expand under challenge. There is a principle in psychology called adaptation. Humans adapt to whatever environment they live in. If you live in struggle long enough, it begins to feel normal. If you live in mediocrity long enough, it begins to feel safe. That is why so many people stay stuck. Not because they lack ability, but because they have adapted to being small. The rich mindset refuses to adapt to mediocrity. It refuses to call average acceptable. It demands expansion, and it places itself in environments that stretch, test, and elevate. Comfort is seductive. It tells you to rest when you should rise, to delay when you should act, to hold back when you should give everything. But comfort never fulfills. Deep down, you know this. Every time you avoid the hard work, every time you settle for less than your potential, you feel the emptiness. You feel the quiet voice reminding you that you are capable of more. That voice is not there to shame you. It is there to call you higher. When you embrace discomfort, you unlock transformation. You discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. You realize that the pain of growth is temporary, but the reward of growth is lasting. You begin to see that the moments you once feared become the very moments you look back on with gratitude because they made you who you are. This is the secret the rich mindset holds. Greatness is not found in the easy path. It is found in the difficult one, the one that demands everything and gives back more than you imagine. Ask yourself, what have you been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? What habit, what decision, what leap have you delayed in the name of safety? That avoidance is costing you more than discomfort ever could. Discomfort will stretch you, but avoidance will imprison you. The rich mindset chooses the temporary pain of discipline over the permanent pain of regret. Life is asking you to rise above comfort, to stop seeking what is easy and start seeking what makes you evolve, to walk willingly into the spaces that test you, knowing that every test expands your capacity. The choice is not between comfort and struggle. The real choice is between mediocrity and greatness has never lived in the comfort zone. Greatness also demands discipline because discipline is the bridge between intention and transformation. The poor mindset is guided by emotion. If it feels good, it is done. If it feels hard, it is avoided. But emotions are fleeting, and lives built on emotion collapse the moment resistance arrives. The rich mindset is guided by commitment. It knows that discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. Freedom to choose your future instead of being ruled by impulse. Freedom to direct your life instead of drifting through it. Discipline is the invisible force that shapes dreams into reality. Every great achievement is rooted in consistent discipline. Not once in a while, not when it is convenient. Every day, when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when no one even believes in you. That is when discipline matters most. The poor mindset craves quick results and instant gratification. It wants reward without sacrifice. But life does not work that way. The world gives its treasures to those who have proven they can be trusted with them. And trust is built through discipline. Discipline is saying yes to your vision when distractions beg for your attention. Discipline is choosing growth when excuses scream louder. Discipline is rising early when your body craves comfort, working longer when your mind seeks escape, staying focused when everything around you pulls you away. These small choices may feel invisible today, but they create visible transformation tomorrow. Psychology teaches us that habits shape identity. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are. The poor mindset forms habits of delay, avoidance, and inconsistency, and then wonders why life feels stagnant. The rich mindset builds habits of action, focus, and resilience and watches life expand. You are not your goals, you are your habits. And your habits will either pull you into mediocrity or propel you into mastery. The beautiful truth is that discipline is available to everyone. It does not require privilege, luck, or special talent. It requires only a decision to show up no matter what, to keep promises you make to yourself, to value long-term reward over short-term relief. Each time you keep that decision, you strengthen your identity. You begin to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, you no longer fear challenges because you know you will rise to meet them. The poor mindset sees discipline as sacrifice, but the rich mindset sees it as investment. You give effort today so you can live freedom tomorrow. You give focus now so you can enjoy abundance later. You give consistency in the dark so you can shine in the light. Nothing worthwhile is built without it. Discipline is the currency that buys transformation. Ask yourself, where in your life have you been letting emotion decide for you? Where have you been letting impulse steal your future? The truth is, you already know the areas where discipline is calling. You feel it every time you delay what you should do, every time you choose comfort over progress, every time you break the promises you made to yourself. But today can be the day you decide differently. Today can be the day you take back control, not by waiting for motivation, but by choosing discipline. Because when discipline leads, success always follows. Discipline fuels consistency, and consistency is the true separator between those who dream and those who achieve. Anyone can start. Anyone can feel excited in the beginning, full of energy and hope, but the poor mindset burns out quickly because it relies on motivation alone. Motivation is like a spark. It can light the fire, but it cannot keep it burning. The rich mindset understands that consistency is the wood that keeps the fire alive long after the spark has faded. It knows that small actions repeated daily create unstoppable momentum. Consistency is where the invisible becomes visible. At first, the effort may look like it is producing nothing. You wake up early, you study, you train, you practice, you work, and it feels like no one notices. The poor mindset quits in that silence. It demands instant recognition and immediate reward. But the rich mindset thrives in that silence because it knows results are building beneath the surface. Every action is a seed planted, and seeds take time to break through the ground. There is a psychological principle called compound effect. Small actions, repeated consistently, multiply over time into results far greater than their size. Reading a few pages daily can reshape your mind. Saving a small amount regularly can build wealth. Training a little each day can transform your body. The poor mindset underestimates these small choices and overestimates the power of one big effort. But life is not built on occasional intensity. It is built on consistent discipline. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that your words mean something. Confidence does not come from talking about your goals. It comes from the repeated experience of keeping promises to yourself. When you are consistent, you no longer need to rely on willpower because your actions become identity. You don't just do the work, you become the kind of person who does the work. And once that identity locks in, quitting is no longer an option. The poor mindset sees consistency as boring, craves novelty, distraction, something new to chase every time the excitement fades. But the rich mindset sees consistency as mastery. It understands that repetition is not punishment, it is refinement. Every time you repeat, you sharpen your skills, strengthen your habits, and solidify your foundation. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is the reason the rich mindset eventually stands on ground the poor mindset will never reach. Think about how powerful your life could become if you chose consistency in the areas that matter most. Imagine the transformation if you stopped starting and quitting and instead started and kept going. Imagine where you would be 1 year from now if you took just one step every single day towards your vision. The truth is, you are not limited by your ability. You are limited by your willingness to remain consistent long enough to see results. Your future will not be shaped by what you do once in a while. It will be shaped by what you do every day. Every small act of discipline compounded over time becomes greatness. The rich mindset knows this truth and lives by it. And the more you live by it, the more unstoppable you become. Because while talent may open a door, consistency is what keeps it open long enough for you to walk through. Consistency lays a foundation, but vision gives it direction. Without vision, consistency is just motion without meaning. The poor mindset drifts through life, reacting to circumstances, chasing distractions, and following whatever is placed in front of it. It mistakes busyness for progress and comfort for success. But the rich mindset refuses to move without clarity. It understands that vision is the compass that guides every decision, every sacrifice, and every effort. Vision turns discipline and consistency into a purposeful journey instead of endless wandering. Vision is not about what you see with your eyes. It is about what you see with your heart and mind. It is the ability to imagine a future that does not yet exist. to hold it so clearly that it begins to feel real, and then to act in alignment with it until it becomes reality. The poor mindset dismisses vision as fantasy. It says, be realistic, stay small, don't hope for too much. But reality is not fixed. It is created by those who dare to envision more. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story began with someone who saw something others could not. Psychology teaches us that the brain cannot distinguish vividly imagined vision from actual experience. This is why visualization is so powerful. When you create a vision and feed your mind with it daily, you are programming your brain to believe it is possible. And what the brain believes, it begins to act toward. The poor mindset starves itself of vision and ends up repeating the past. The rich mindset feeds vision until it becomes a magnet for action, courage, and resilience. Vision gives pain a purpose. Without vision, challenges feel meaningless and struggle feels like punishment. With vision, challenges become stepping stones and struggle becomes preparation. The rich mindset endures what others cannot because it sees beyond the present moment. It sees the reward waiting on the other side of sacrifice. When your vision is strong enough, no setback can stop you. You may bend, but you will not break. You may stumble, but you will not quit. Vision anchors you when storms come, and storms will always come. The poor mindset waits to see before believing. It demands evidence before commitment. But the rich mindset believes before seeing, and that belief creates the evidence. Faith is the fuel of vision. It is the willingness to act as though the future is guaranteed, even when nothing around you supports it. And over time, life bends to the strength of that belief. Ask yourself, what vision are you holding for your life? Not the one you've been told to accept, not the one shaped by fear or doubt, but the one that burns quietly inside you, the one that refuses to die no matter how much you ignore it. That vision is not an accident. It is your calling. And when you align your discipline and consistency with that vision, you unlock a force that nothing can stop. The rich mindset lives guided by vision, not by circumstance. It moves with intention, not reaction. It shapes reality instead of being shaped by it. And the moment you decide to embrace your vision, you begin to rise into a life that others will call impossible, but you will know is inevitable. A powerful vision demands belief, because without belief, even the clearest vision dies before it ever has a chance to live. The poor mindset looks at a vision and asks, but what if I fail? It searches for reasons it cannot, and in searching, it finds them. Belief is fragile when it is based on outside approval, and the poor mindset is always waiting for others to confirm its worth. But the rich mindset anchors belief deep within. It does not wait for evidence. It creates it. It does not wait for applause. It builds without it. Belief is the fuel that keeps vision alive in the dark, and without it, even the brightest vision will fade. Belief is not about pretending everything will be easy. It is about knowing that no matter how hard it becomes, you are capable of finding a way through. It is about holding on to the certainty that the future you imagine is possible, even when the present looks nothing like it. Psychology calls this self-efficacy, the belief in your own ability to succeed in specific situations. People with high self-efficacy do not see challenges as threats. They see them as tasks to be mastered. That belief shapes behavior, and behavior shapes results. The poor mindset underestimates the power of belief because it sees only what is in front of it. If money is low, it believes wealth is impossible. If opportunities are scarce, it believes success is unreachable. But the rich mindset understands that belief is not a reflection of what is, it is a declaration of what will be. Belief bends reality because it shapes how you think, how you act, how you persevere. And over time, the world begins to reflect what you first carried only in your heart. Think about how many times you stopped yourself because you doubted. You had the idea, the spark, the vision, but you questioned your ability, so you hesitated. That hesitation became delay, and delay became regret. Every time doubt wins, you shrink. Every time belief wins, you expand. The rich mindset chooses belief again and again until belief becomes natural, automatic, unshakable. Belief also creates resilience. Without belief, failure feels final. With belief, failure feels like feedback. Without belief, obstacles drain you. With belief, obstacles train you. The way you interpret experiences depends on the strength of your belief. When you truly believe, setbacks are not signs to quit. They are signs you are on the right path, pushing against the very resistance that will make you stronger. Ask yourself, what would change if you truly believed in your vision? How would you speak differently, walk differently, decide differently if you knew without doubt that success was inevitable? That level of belief is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is choosing to stand in the truth that you are capable, worthy, and prepared for more than the world has led you to think. The rich mindset knows belief is not a luxury, it is survival. Without it, dreams die. With it, dreams breed, grow, and manifest. Belief is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, the unseen and the seen, the impossible and the inevitable. And the moment you choose to believe, you step into a power that no obstacle can extinguish. Belief without action is nothing more than a dream that slowly withers away. The poor mindset convinces itself that belief alone is enough, that thinking and wishing will somehow open doors. It hides in the comfort of waiting, hoping circumstances will change. But the rich mindset knows that belief is only the spark. Action is the fire. Without action, vision stays locked inside you, unrealized, invisible, powerless. Action is what transforms imagination into evidence, ideas into results, and belief into reality. The psychology of motivation reveals a powerful truth. Momentum builds from small steps. When you act, even in tiny ways, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of reward and progress. This strengthens motivation and creates a loop that fuels more action. The poor mindset delays, waiting for perfect conditions, not realizing that inaction breeds more inaction. But the rich mindset acts even in uncertainty, knowing that progress itself creates clarity. You don't wait for confidence to act, you act and confidence grows. Action also destroys fear. Fear thrives in the space between thought and action. The longer you wait, the louder fear becomes. But once you move, fear loses its grip. The rich mindset does not wait to feel ready. It moves forward because it understands readiness is born in motion. The poor mindset wastes years preparing, planning, and doubting. The rich mindset learns through doing, adapting, and growing. Every step forward, no matter how imperfect, is worth more than a lifetime of hesitation. Think of how many doors could have opened if you had acted sooner. How many chances slipped away because doubt made you pause. Action is the great separator. Two people can share the same dream, the same vision, the same belief. But the one who acts will create results, while the one who waits will only create regrets. The world does not reward potential, it rewards execution. The poor mindset fears mistakes, so it avoids action. It believes mistakes are proof of weakness. But the rich mindset knows mistakes are proof of progress. Every misstep is a lesson. Every setback a teacher. Every failure a step closer to mastery. Psychology calls this a growth mindset. The understanding that skills and success are developed through effort, not fixed traits. When you adopt this mindset, you no longer fear action because you know every action, whether it leads to success or failure, is shaping you into who you are meant to become. Action also builds identity. The more you act, the more you reinforce the belief that you are capable. Identity is not something you wait to feel. It is something you build through repeated action. The poor mindset says, once I feel like the kind of person who can succeed, I will act. But the rich mindset says, I will act, and through action, I will become the kind of person who succeeds. Identity follows action, not the other way around. Ask yourself, what is one action you could take today that aligns with your vision? Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because the moment you act, you break the chain of hesitation that has held you back. The rich mindset lives by this truth. The smallest action is worth infinitely more than the greatest intention. And when belief turns into action, transformation is no longer a possibility. It becomes inevitable. Action unlocks growth, but growth requires one more element that separates those who rise from those who remain stuck: persistence. The poor mindset acts only when it feels easy, when the path is smooth, when the rewards are immediate. But the rich mindset understands that greatness is not built in a moment of inspiration, but in the relentless persistence to keep going long after the excitement fades. Persistence is the bridge between effort and achievement, between desire and destiny. Without it, even the strongest vision and the boldest action will collapse under pressure. Persistence is not about intensity, it is about endurance. Many people start strong, fueled by motivation, but they burn out quickly when results don't come fast enough. The poor mindset quits when progress feels slow. It sees setbacks as signs to stop. It interprets challenges as proof that success is not meant for them. But the rich mindset expects struggle. It welcomes resistance. It knows that persistence through the storm is what forges strength, character, and mastery. Research shows that persistence is tied closely to grit, the ability to sustain passion and effort toward long-term goals. People with grit outperform those with talent alone because they refuse to stop. They may be knocked down, but they rise again. They may fail repeatedly, but they treat each failure as a stepping stone. The poor mindset asks, how long will it take? The rich mindset asks, how far can I go if I never stop? This simple shift changes everything. Persistence also rewires the brain. Every time you push through resistance, you strengthen neural pathways of resilience. You are teaching yourself that you can endure discomfort, delay gratification, and overcome difficulty. This self-trust becomes unshakable. The poor mindset never builds this muscle because it quits too soon, staying trapped in a cycle of restarting but never finishing. The rich mindset finishes because persistence makes quitting unthinkable. Think of what persistence really means. It is the quiet decision to rise one more time. It is the silent choice to try again when no one is watching. It is the inner voice that whispers, keep going, when everything else screams, stop. The poor mindset hears the scream and surrenders. The rich mindset listens to the whisper and obeys it again and again until victory becomes inevitable. Persistence turns time into an ally instead of an enemy. The poor mindset looks at time and despairs, thinking success is too far away. But the rich mindset understands that time is neutral. It multiplies whatever you put into it. Quit, and time multiplies regret. Persist, and time multiplies progress. Persistence transforms small daily actions into massive results. The kind of results that appear sudden to others but are built quietly through years of endurance. Ask yourself, where have you been stopping too soon? Where have you let temporary difficulties steal permanent victory? You are not held back by a lack of ability, but by a lack of persistence. And persistence is a choice you can make right now. The rich mindset chooses to continue, not because it is easy, but because it is worth it. And when you choose persistence, you discover the truth. Obstacles are not walls to stop you, but doors that open only to those who refuse to quit. Persistence builds strength, but strength alone is not enough without the courage to embrace risk. The poor mindset avoids risk at all costs, clinging to safety, clinging to what is known, even if what is known is mediocrity. It convinces itself that staying comfortable is the smart choice, not realizing that comfort is the silent trap that robs life of growth. The rich mindset sees risk differently. It understands that risk is not the enemy, it is the price of progress, the toll gate that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Every dream carries a cost, and that cost is the willingness to step into the unknown. Risk is uncomfortable because it exposes you. It reveals your fear of failure, your fear of judgment, your fear of loss. But psychology shows us that growth lies just beyond that discomfort. The human brain craves safety, but it also craves challenge. When you stretch yourself into risk, you trigger neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt, grow, and rewire. You literally become more capable by daring to act in uncertain territory. The poor mindset misses this opportunity because it hides behind excuses. The rich mindset embraces it, knowing that risk is the forge where potential becomes reality. Every meaningful achievement requires stepping into risk. Starting a business, changing careers, pursuing a dream, speaking your truth. All of it carries uncertainty. The poor mindset waits until the risk disappears, but that moment never comes. The rich mindset acts despite risk, not because risk is absent, but because risk is necessary. Without risk, there is no reward. Without risk, there is no transformation. Safety feels good, but safety never changes you. Risk is also the test of belief. It forces you to trust yourself when the outcome is unknown. It strips away illusions and demands courage. And when you take that step, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your fear. That proof builds confidence that no book, no lecture, no theory could ever give you.